Welcome, this is RT. It's midnight now here in Moscow. My name's Kevin Owen with the top stories tonight for you. And heavy fighting in Libya shows little sign of easing as ground forces maintain their offensive against a strong Gaddafi loyalist resistance. This as the country's interim leaders struggle to form a cohesive cabinet in their ambitious plans for change. The loyalists are making their last stand indeed in several cities, with civilians in the affected areas trapped in the crossfire. Meantime, the rest of Libya is reeling from months of civil war, with some estimating the death toll in the tens of thousands. Ongoing NATO airstrikes have also reportedly killed a number of civilians, with some Western leaders now facing possible legal action over their military campaign. You may find some of the images coming up in Daniel Bushel's report disturbing.
French ex-foreign minister Roland Dumas says he's ready to defend Muammar Gaddafi in the International Criminal Court, which has issued a warrant for his arrest. But NATO will have to find the colonel first. Libya's deposed leader is in hiding for good reason.
If they find him, they'll kill him, like bin Laden. Some states are now claiming the right to kill, against all international law.
Images like these are moving French lawyers to turn against their government. Nicolas Sarkozy faces lawsuits over the deaths of ordinary people in Libya. Lawyers here in France accuse the president of committing crimes against humanity. This lawyer calls the Libyan war a new Vietnam, where the US sprayed tens of millions of litres of toxins on crops in the 60s and 70s, causing brain disorders, miscarriages and birth defects to this day.
Ça provoque des cancers.
They're using missiles with depleted uranium, which causes cancer. In Tripoli, I saw people crippled by NATO attacks, office workers who have nothing to do with the fighting. That's why we're suing President Sarkozy for crimes against humanity.
NATO first denied bombing this residence, where 13 civilians, including 4 children, died. It then called the place a military command centre. This journalist went to see what it really housed.
Books, video Spider-Man, toys and cultural books and everything. Nothing military.
In another attack, Khalid Olawidi's wife, child and grandchildren were reportedly killed in their home. NATO's accused of deliberately waging a campaign of terror.
Their bombings targeted Libya's electricity, water and food supply. After 5 months of deadly NATO bombs and thousands of deaths, people will stop supporting the regime because they simply cannot take it anymore.
Western leaders are poised for their first big legal challenge over Libya. If they stop the cases coming to court altogether, adds Ciccaldi, it will prove once and for all that Western justice really is run by politicians, not the rule of law. Daniel Bushel, RT, Paris.
Now, in the latest twist of the Libyan revolt, it emerged that Colonel Gaddafi could have made his recent escape from Tripoli in a state-of-the-art armoured vehicle, according to reports by Britain's Daily Mail newspaper. Now, that Mercedes 4x4, though, was reportedly provided by the French government, with Nicolas Sarkozy given the green light for the deal back in 2007. Journalist and political analyst Nabila Ramdani says the news is a huge embarrassment for the French leadership.
It's equipped with a command system which allows Colonel Gaddafi to keep in touch with his forces, but it's also equipped with an anti-tracking system which makes it impossible for NATO surveillance to pick up any signals and indeed to locate and target the car. So it's indeed quite ironic and indeed embarrassing for the French government. The deal was struck in 2007 when President Sarkozy was then Interior Minister. That's before he became president, a few months later, and as soon as he became president he received Colonel Gaddafi himself in Paris for a 5-day state visit. President Sarkozy was able to sell him this armoured vehicle, a Mercedes car 4x4, and indeed as part of the deal is a 25 million plus package which also provides the Libyan government with means to keep tabs on oppositions by controlling the email system of dissidents. These revelations come in the wake of a triumphant visit lately by President Sarkozy in Libya, where he was very much depicted in the French press as the liberator of Libya. He was nicknamed Sarkozy the Libyan, and his war was nicknamed Sarkozy's war. He was portrayed as the savior of Libya, while at the same time, of course, he's the one who did probably the most to keep Gaddafi in arms as anybody else. So these are hugely embarrassing revelations for Western countries involved in this military adventure in Libya, and however to look at it, it's very hard to believe that they are getting involved militarily out of the goodness of their hearts. But of course, as we've seen lately, there was a Paris conference held where business interests were discussed, and the whole purpose of that meeting was of course to make the military adventure worthwhile and to discuss business opportunities involving the rebuilding of Libya, with energy companies from Britain and France in a very good position to get very lucrative business deals in post-Gaddafi Libya.